Guys, so today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I will be running through a whole guide of grading. I do get a lot of questions in my DMs on Instagram at SportsCardInvest, and just in general in my YouTube comments about people that are looking to grade, looking to make a lot of money because they know there is a lot of money to be made by grading cards, but they're not sure what cards to buy, they're not sure where to send in, who to send in with, and all that type of stuff. So I will be covering all that in this video. Now, before we get into that, I do want to say, as you guys know, I recently launched my Platinum Yearly membership, in which I give out high-end picks to my investors. To my members. So just 4 weeks ago, I was going ahead and recommending my members to buy these Kobe Bryant 1996 Topps Chrome PSA 9s for around $3,000 and his PSA 10s for around $13,000. Now currently they have almost doubled, essentially nearly doubled, up to around $5,500 in a PSA 9 and up to around $25,000 in a PSA 10. So our Platinum Yearly membership includes 3 high-end picks per week, and ever since we launched the program last month, not one pick has gone down in value, and a majority of the picks have gone up in value. So a lot of money to be made with the Platinum Yearly membership, and additionally, we do have, we have been making a killing in the normal membership. We were buying these Brandon Ingram PSA 10 Selects just 4 weeks ago, or I believe 3 to 4 weeks ago, for just around $130 in a PSA 10. They're currently over $300. So we've been killing it recently. If you guys would like to join in on the profit and make a killing in 2021, go ahead, click the link down below to sportscardsinvest.com. You can use code YouTube for 10% off at checkout. So if you are interested in making some big money investing and flipping, definitely go ahead and join in on the profit, because we have been killing it recently. But without further ado, we're going to hop right into this video. So firstly, a lot of people ask which cards to buy and what to look for when they're looking for cards to buy. So firstly, I would definitely recommend going to psacard.com. And you want to go ahead and figure out, of the card. You can go ahead and search up any card. You guys will, get the point there. But you can basically search up any card and see how many have been graded, how many of those have graded a PSA 9, how many have graded a PSA 10, and obviously, in recent sets such as 2018 Prism, which I tend to want to grade recent cards, just because there's obviously a higher chance they grade better. That's quite common, because they are newer cards. So obviously, one thing I look for is obviously looking for cards from 2015 to 2020. Beyond that, it's quite tough to really grade well. So I definitely look for guys that's PSA 10s. A lot of them are being graded very well. Obviously it's a little bit unpredictable. But the second thing you obviously want to look for, and the main thing you want to look for, is the price difference between the raw and the PSA 10 and the PSA 9. So my rule of thumb is if I can buy a card, from the last 3 years, from the last 5 years that grade very well, if I can buy the raw card for the same price as a PSA 8, I will go ahead and buy that every single time. So let's look up Jaren Jackson Jr., for example. So if we look ahead at his PSA 8 in sold items, let's see how much that is going for. So you also have to take into account grading costs, but generally, if you can buy the card for the price of a PSA 8, that's a great buy. So it was around $17 in December. I believe now it's a little bit more. But then if you go ahead and look at his PSA 9, that's around $70. So, you definitely want to cover the downside, right? Because obviously if it gets a PSA 10, you're making a killing. You're making a lot of money. You're making 5x your money. But you do have to plan for, a PSA 9, a PSA 8, because very well that could happen. So say for a card like this that grades very well, say you get a PSA 9, you're making roughly $60, let's say, off a, $30 raw card. So that seems quite good. Now, there are definitely other cards that I do highly recommend, such as Kevin Durant's 2007 Topps. Now, these, you definitely want to make sure that they grade very well. So, Kevin Durant's Topps rookie cards grade very, very well. These are quite easy to get in, I would say. Black borders are a little bit tougher, but for example, This is a $50 card. Okay, I think this may have a problem with it because that does seem way under market. So we're going to go ahead and try to find a good raw listing. So here we go. Okay, that says please read as well. So that is, chances are those have a problem. So we're going to go ahead and try to find one. Okay, let's just go with this whiteboarder, for example. So this is an $80 card ungraded. So we're going to go ahead and search up the price of his PSA. You definitely want to, I would prepare for a PSA 8 almost. So if you can cover the downside, if it can get a PSA 8 and you are still making money, and these grade very well, that is an incredible buy. So his PSA 8s are selling for $165, and raw, they are just $80. So say, including grading fees and shipping, say you paid $100 all in on a Kevin Durant. If you get a PSA 8, which is obviously not desirable, you still make $160. If you get a PSA 9, which is very, very possible, you're making $420. If you get a PSA 10, of course, which could happen, there's a good chance at that, you're making $1,800. So you definitely have to be able to find these cards, and there's definitely many ways to help. Obviously, PSA card, if you're seeing a card from 2007 grading as well as Kevin Durant's does, that's definitely something to look at because the raw cards are going to be cheaper for older cards. So as we can see right there, you can buy a Kevin Durant raw Topps number 2 for $80. You can send it in for grading. It gets a PSA 8 and you double your money. You nearly double your money if you get a PSA 8. So essentially, if you get a 7 or above, you're making money. You're at least breaking even. So that's, a no-brainer in my opinion. I will go ahead, I think it's very smart to buy a bunch of these. Just send them in. Even if you get a PSA 8, boom, $60. If you get a PSA 9, which is very possible, $300 profit. So, definitely finding those little frequencies. Now, another thing you definitely want to know is if you are going ahead and looking to buy, say, this Kevin Durant card. So firstly, of course, you definitely want to check the description. So obviously this will say check out pictures, for example, but you also want to check out the seller. And you want to click this in specific, see other items. So as you can see right here, this guy just sells ungraded cards. Aside from, some older cards that he may have, he's pretty much just a personal collection guy, I like to call it. He does not look like a real investor. He does not look like someone who would send in a card for grading. Because he's selling all of these cards ungraded. He's not selling a single graded card besides one very old card. So that would be a green light. That's a thumbs up because, obviously, if he was also selling graded cards, chances are he did not grade this Kevin Durant because he didn't think it would grade well. But this guy is only selling ungraded cards for the most part. So that gives me a lot more confidence that he could have just pulled it out of a pack, found it, in his drawer, and posted it up, and it was still in perfect condition. So that's definitely a green light. However, if you go ahead and, try to bid on, say this guy's, okay, so we're going to go ahead and check into this seller. This guy's selling ungraded for $80. So if you go ahead and check in, see his other items, so he's only selling one other ungraded card. That's a green light. But if they are by chance selling other graded cards, then I would stay away from that card because chances are, they are selling the card ungraded because they knew it wouldn't grade well. So you definitely want to make sure the guy is not grading cards as well. If he's selling a raw card, if he is grading cards, that's a no-go, in my eyes. So that's definitely something I look for. But obviously, basics when checking these out is, scanning the corners. You definitely want to be on a computer so you can do this right here where you zoom in. That's very helpful. So as you can see right here, the corners are all quite scuffed. So I would definitely stay away from that. So if we look at his other items, I'm willing to bet you he's got some graded card. Okay, so looks like he is selling ungraded cards, but, that just turned out to be in bad condition. He doesn't keep his cards in good condition. So that's something I really look at. Obviously, when finding other cards to go ahead and grade, if you find a card out there that 60% are grading a PSA 10, you definitely want to get your hand in the action. Because if you're sending that card in, you're buying it for the price of a PSA 9 even. So if you get a PSA 9, which is not ideal, you're still at least breaking even. Then that's definitely a good show. So I would definitely look, for stuff like that, I definitely think there's so much opportunity out here in the market. In terms of grading, I definitely believe, Kevin Durant is one of the stronger graders. Obviously his cards are one of the strongest to grade. Just the profit margins on that is quite crazy. Overall, there's a lot of cards that go for a lot ungraded, and there's a lot of cards that sit quite low ungraded, but then when they're graded in a slab, they go for so much. So Kevin Durant is one of those. Jaren Jackson, I think, is a quite good buy right now. Obviously you still see some other players that are quite low. You just kind of have to search around. There's a lot of cards that, many may not even have been worth grading, last year. So they go for a lot graded because there are not many out there that are graded, but there's so many out there that are ungraded. And some guys I look for, is, for example, Darius Garland. He was not even worth grading, this past offseason. So if we look at his PSA 10, we can see them around 150, I believe, possibly even Colin Sexton. Not many people were grading his cards, so his PSA 10 population, obviously it's increasing at a rapid rate right now, because everyone who has Colin Sexton cards are trying to send them in as soon as possible, because the prices are going crazy on his cards. But that's a $227 PSA 10, and then if we look at his Prism ungraded, you can probably still get those. Those are going up quite a lot, but the PSA 10s are coming down a lot in price because a lot of people are grading them. But I still find it to be a very good buy. If you can buy this at $20, send it in for grading, PSA 10, boom, $220. Even if you get a PSA 9, $70. Even a PSA 8, you will break even. So that's definitely a good investment, good buy, good thing to send into grading. Who to grade with. So I personally use @ClayCards on Instagram. I definitely think there are many graders that are very good to grade with, and I would certainly suggest sending it in with the third-party grader, because one, the turnaround times are going to be a lot faster. If you're in there sending one card, they're going to push that off to the side. They care about the customers that are sending in thousands of cards. They will put those first because those are their most valuable customers, and those are the customers they want to keep most happy, because they're sending in thousands of cards. And I also believe that they give favorable grades when you send in with the grader, because obviously the grader is a more valued customer. They want that grader to feel, to send in more cards, essentially. So if you want the grader to send in more cards, they give a little bit favorable grades, I feel. So I would definitely recommend going with a guy who's sending in thousands of cards, just because you will likely get a better grade and a quicker turnaround time. So that's definitely another tip I have. If you guys have any more questions, you can always feel free to message me on Instagram at SportsCardInvest, and I will go ahead and be happy to help you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, if you would like to join the program and make some money with us, click the link down below to SportsCardsInvest.com. But other than that, I'm out. Peace.